We have been hearing a lot of noise within the XRP community recently. Noise that the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, he's going to be resigning very soon, which would be incredible news, truth be told. Now, most people, myself included, just kind of brush this off as another attempt by Trump to vent his frustration and his distrust in Jerome Powell. He wants Jerome Powell fired as Fed chair. Trump says inflation is low. The job market is growing, and the tariffs are bringing in more money to the United States, which he is telling the truth, he's right here. So as a result, he desperately wants interest rates to be lowered as low as 1% right now. He wants Jerome Powell gone, which would be insane. A 3% interest rate cut from where we're at right now would be nuts, do wonders for on-risk markets, for crypto, and in particular for XRP. So that's where we're at right now, rumors effectively. So just imagine my shock when I read this statement, this new statement from the US Federal Housing. In a shocking turn of events, this just in, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell reportedly is considering resigning. That's right, this statement comes from Chairman of the Board of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac Williams, quote, from Washington DC. I'm encouraged by reports that Jerome Powell is considering resigning. I think this will be the right direction for America and the economy will boom. This is insane. If Jerome Powell resigns, the replacement, the one to follow him, no doubt will definitely follow Trump's ideology and agendas, meaning we will be seeing considerable rate cuts from where we're at right now. And once more considering, inflation is low, the job market is growing, tariffs are bringing in more money to the United States, and all financial markets, crypto included, is rallying past their all-time highs right now, we will see an explosive cycle like no other when interest rate cuts are introduced. Now, will Jerome Powell be resigning at the end of his term, May 2026? Well, most definitely, but will it be earlier? Time will tell, of course. Reports seem to suggest that it will be earlier, which would be very good and even more bullish and mean the next huge leg up for the bull cycle and an altcoin season is closer than ever before. We just need these rate cuts. And actually, speaking of which, more and more members of the federal board. We've seen it already from the Federal Housing, and now we're seeing it here. Board Governor member Christopher Waller, he is turning on Jerome Powell bit by bit, and many more from the Fed are doing so as well. So Waller here said the Federal Reserve can consider cutting interest rates this month, which completely goes against Jerome Powell's wait and see approach. This is huge news though. So Tuesday coming is the CPI inflation data. And then PCE inflation metrics, which is the Fed's preferred metric, comes out at the end of this month. Both will provide a lot of deep insight into how the Fed will react this month during their next FOMC meeting, potentially continuing this bullish rally and sending it so much higher. As we can see from the market chart, Bitcoin is currently valued at 117, almost $118,000, closing in on 120k day by day, still printing green candles, trying desperately to catch up to the M2 money supply, which suggests that Bitcoin right now should be so much higher. You can see so Bitcoin should be sitting at around 120 to 125k right now. But equally, we can see XRP also doing very, very well, breaking out of its wedge pattern we drew out earlier. XRP is currently valued at $2.78, up roughly 1.81% on the daily time frame. XRP has been on an absolute tear for the past 2 to 3 days. It's doing very, very well. And the volume's going up as well. And the reason why is because of all this bullish news with the Fed and the stuff in the economy, but also because of what's happening with XRP. Pro-shares XRP ETFs. So ETFs for XRP are coming soon. This is set to start trading next week, July 18th, at the end of Crypto Week. More institutional adoption, fantastic stuff, but that is not all, because Ripple also on the cusp of becoming a national and recognized bank, filing as a bank charter with the OCC. This is huge news, and it's funny how this is something that notorious XRP Riddler Mr. Paul predicted 4 years ago. And it just gets one step better than that as well. Truth be told, there's so much more bullish news coming to XRP right now because all the activity going on within the Fed right now, people like Governor Waller wants JP Morgan out and he wants interest rate cuts. He also wants a level playing field, as he mentions in his interview. You can hear Governor Waller break down the rapid evolution in payments we're witnessing right now with stablecoins and how it is going to transform America for the better. Listen very closely.
So the Federal Reserve, since its founding, one of the things that the Fed was charged with by Congress in 1913 was to provide kind of a safe, efficient payment system at the time. I mean, it was at a time when, you wrote a check in San Francisco and somebody on a horse rode it across the West and took it to another horse and eventually got to the East Coast. I mean, that's the kind of, seriously, that was what Congress realized. We have to have a national bank or central bank to make the nation's payment system more efficient and faster. And that has been part of our job for over a century. And that's why I take this job extremely seriously in terms of being the payment oversight governor. So we have our typical big payment currency, obviously one of the big payment instruments that we oversee. We have ACH, Fed ACH, which is the standard batch processing way we do payments, payroll, and things like that. We have FedWire, which is typically the large transactions up to $1 billion that have to be made. And then we recently have FedNow, which is our real-time payment system that we launched about a little over a year ago. And we're trying to develop that now to have it more, again, a faster, cheaper payment system for the U.S. taxpayer. So that's kind of what we do. That's what I oversee. It's been a long part of our history. But there's nothing that is evolving faster and being more disruptive than the payments industry. For years, this was like the dullest thing you could ever want to be part of, right? Somebody with a green visor and a pad and paper and doing some debit and entries. No, this is the coolest tech job on the planet right now. So there's so much innovation happening, both in terms of how payments are getting done, who's doing the payments, what are the objects that people are using to make payments. That's why the job I have now is super fascinating. I go around, talk to payments conferences, payments people, find out where things are going. And that brings us, I guess, to stablecoins, which, is probably going to pass here soon. Now, stablecoins they're just a new method for making a payment. I'm going to use a very simple analogy that won't scare people because stablecoins came out of the crypto world, and then you say that, people freak out. But it used to be, apparently not anymore, but it used to be you go to a casino, they won't take dollar bills on any of the tables or anything like that. You go get chips, and you get a poker chip that matched $1, and then the platform, the rails of the casino were all the tables. And you move those chips around the tables, and then at the end of the night, you collected them, and you went back, and you cashed it out. So it's just a different payment instrument for moving on a different set of rails than we typically do in our normal daily life. But that's about as simple as I can explain it. So stablecoins are just a new dollar token, just like a poker chip, that is now going to trade over a different set of digital rails, typically the crypto rails, Ethereum, Solana, these various platforms. What is that going to do? It's going to open up different ways of making payments. These are fast, 24 by 7 by 365 payment setups. They're just a dollar representation. They don't pay interest. You have to have them fully backed. There's no banking credit backing this up. It's just pure liquid assets, treasuries, or reserves in the Fed. And the whole idea for me is that this is just going to introduce competition in payments. It's going to make cross-border payments so much easier. It's going to make them faster, and it's going to make them cheaper. And that's the goal for me as a free market capitalist economist, is I want competition in payments to drive down the cost for households and consumers and businesses. That's it. Banks have to compete. Sorry, that's your job. So it's not my job to protect profits of individual firms. So that's it. But I want a level playing field. If you're going to introduce a stablecoin, let the banks in on it too. Then go compete. See what happens. But I just think historically, because stablecoins came out of the crypto world, because they realized the standard problem. I got to pay for something that somebody wants. I can hand them some Dogecoin, but nobody wants that. Maybe. But if I say, oh, this is a dollar-backed stablecoin, and when you're done, you can go cash it out, people are like, yeah, I'll take that. So even in the crypto world, this is where stablecoins came. They realized the need for a payment instrument that's safe, stable, and backed by a US dollar. They're not trading Bitcoin to pay for things. No one's buying pizzas with Bitcoin. But they do with stablecoins. So that's what it is this is an innovation in a world people have been afraid of for the last 4 years, but it's just a piece of technology to conduct a payment. That's it.
Now I highlight this really insightful interview from Governor Waller here because Ripple recently partnered with BNY Mellon, so this legacy bank with $2 trillion settled in payments every single day can be prime custodian for Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin. So he's talking about stablecoins being the next innovative step for payments, how big they are compared to poke chips. And you've got Ripple with their stablecoin in the right sector in the legacy banking system. They're also Ripple, part of the Fed, FedWire, FedNow. Ripple and XRP are so deeply connected to the legacy banking system and the payment rails and the corridors that effectively when Governor Waller is speaking on stablecoins here, he is silently confirming that there'll be a lot of competition, but Ripple and XRP, RUSD, they are the front runners. They're going to do the best. This is also playing a massive role in XRP's bullish price movement right now. The FOMO is insane, and actually, this ex-Federal Reserve governor stated In this interview, the system we currently have should crash and burn down, and a phoenix will rise from the ashes. The Fed will collapse therefore, and out of the fire and flames, XRP and RLUSD will rise to take its place, saving the Fed. This is huge news. Jerome Powell may be gone very soon, and of course if that happens, crypto, XRP is going to explode. There is so much more coming, guys, and if you don't want to miss out on the incoming opportunities, there coming much more here in the VIP, wap.com/coin factory. From alpha institutional research documents, learn what smart money is saying to their clients and how to get ahead of the retail market, educational courses, private live streams, trade alerts, and so much more. Check it all out. 7-day free trial as well, link down below in the description. And as always, remember, do your own research, don't look short term, think long term. And I'll see you in the next one.